John Lennon's Lost Weekend, a time of love, music, and rock star mayhem. The woman who was there is now revealing the truth behind their relationship. May Pang is in Houston, and we have the details. Houston Life will be right back.
I was 23, and my first boyfriend was John Lennon.
Lost Weekend that everybody keeps talking about, it wasn't so lost. People saw more of John than they had in the previous years.
Jammed with Mick Jagger, with Ringo, Harry Nilsson, Elton John, David Bowie.
Well, welcome back to Houston Life. You just watched a glimpse into John Lennon's infamous Lost Weekend era, a chapter of music history that fans, not all fans, may know about. Someone who did well was May Pang, and she was Lennon's companion. She was his creative partner during that time. So now, May, with the digital release of that documentary, The Lost Weekend, a love story, May is sharing her personal collection of rare photos of Lennon. It's a 3-day special exhibition right here in Houston. Welcome to Houston Life.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here.
Okay, well, I think fans are more excited than you are. I mean, we think about someone who spans, generations and decades of music, really an icon, a legend, and you had such a special, vulnerable time with him, and you were willing to share those stories. I think that's very generous.
Well, I think I needed to fix a lot of the truths that went out, and there's a lot of misconception with what actually happened, and so I needed to change and tell from my side, take that narrative back. I got tired of everybody telling my story and said, oh, this is what happened. I said, no, that's not what happened. So that's why I did the film, and it's truly an independent film. The directors and producers, they found the investors, and we did this all on our own.
Now, for those who don't know, we're seeing some images of the Lost Weekend, which is a love story. This is a trailer for it.
Right.
You really have so many. You're like a vault of untold stories. But talk about your role. I mean, you're a photographer, you're an artist, you're a creative. For people who may not know, maybe they were living under a rock.
Could be. That happens.
Kind of give us some background on.
Well, I started this and working, and then all of a sudden I ended up working for them, meaning John and Yoko, as their assistant, doing anything and everything, meaning if they wanted the grocery, I'm out there. If they wanted the laundry clean, I was there for it. Whatever it was needed, I was there as one of a few of us.
Okay.
They had people in, and then it got down to like maybe 1 or 2, and it became me in New York. They had people in England when they were living there, so they had a household full of people.
People that were working. What was your role in this, very tight-knit circle here?
Oh, their assistant. They had to talk to me. In New York, it was like, oh, we want to do an interview. They had to talk to me. I mean, it was always, you never know who would call. I remember getting a note, and I would have to give it to them saying, you're having dinner tonight with Usant. And for those people who don't know, he was the Secretary General at the UN.
Oh my gosh.
And then I would have to tell them, hey, you're going to be sitting at the table. I would have to give them the whole thing. And then it turned out I got a call just recently from the nephew of this guy, of the Secretary General. And I said, how did I get on? And he goes, well, your name is listed as going to the dinner. I said, believe me, I would not be sitting at that dinner. I probably was the contact, but didn't go to that dinner.
Well, you know what? No one has more personal stories than someone's assistant, because they're living day in, day out, all the happenings. Just so I have the story, if I have the narrative straight, you fix it or not. You tell me if I'm wrong. But at some point, Yoko Ono asked you to kind of hang out with John and said he was, in a creative slump? He was in a depressive slump? What was going on? They
were having their marital problems. And anybody who's working, for them can feel it, can sense it, but you don't say anything. You just work around it. And I just remember her coming into my office, and it was like I used to get to the office early, and it was in the Dakota, and I'm sitting there, and she comes in, she sits across from me, and my cup of coffee is sitting there thinking, I haven't had my first cup of coffee yet. And I was like, I don't know what she wants. So I already had my pen and paper ready for the day's work. And she says, her first line to me is, you know, John and I are not getting along. And I'm sitting and saying, oh, I'm so sorry. And I'm thinking, what does that have to do with me? And then next thing you know, it's just, you know, he's going to start seeing other people. I think you would be good to go out with him. And I'm sitting there going, not me, I'm not interested.
Oh my gosh.
And so this was the type of thing that started, and I'm thinking, I need that coffee. And I said, how did I get here? And this went on, and then, you know, people need to see the movie. It was not an easy transition, and no, it was not her. She did not send us out to LA, which is one of the big narrative. She did not send us out there. She didn't even know John and I went out to LA when we finally got together. It was on a whim that he wanted, when his lawyer said, yes, I'm leaving tonight from New York to LA. He goes, we're going on the plane with you.
Wow, wow. And so, I mean,
then it becomes an adventure.
If that's not a sell on watching the documentary, I don't know what is, but in case that's not, you also have some of the most rare photos of John from this time. Talk about some of the photos.
Well, I think, you know, I used to take photos, not because I was a photographer, because I love taking photos of people. And so when I did that, John looked at them and he went, oh, they look good. You can continue.
Well, look at these.
And so,
what are we watching here?
That's a photo that I handed my camera to people. If I'm in it, I gave it to whoever was standing around because I wanted to take photos of me and him, but
yeah,
there was no such thing as selfies back then.
Yeah.
And here's one of Julian, his son. Which,
that's so rare.
Oh yeah, it is. And he came over a few times with us to visit us and to visit his father, which was great. And that I talk about that in the movie, and it's great. And so these are photos. I have one of the last photos of John and Paul together. Not the last time we saw them. The last time they were photographed together. I took the only photograph of John. I didn't even know I had it. John kept saying, take these photos. And it was the time he was signing the dissolution papers of the Beatles.
Oh my God.
And I said, he kept saying, take it, take it, take it. And I'm going, all right, all right.
Wow.
And so I went in and I took some photos and I didn't know what I had. And then later on, when we finally brought it up and I looked at the print and actually see John's hand, mid-signature. That's what I caught.
May Pang, there isn't enough time in the world, but to see these rare images in person, the Lost Weekend, the photography of May Pang, it's already started. It's free. It runs through Sunday, March 30th at Hooks Epstein Galleries. If you can't make it, the documentary is available to stream right now. We, of course, have provided a link to learn more on our website, HoustonLife.tv. Just check under the Scene on HL section.